Hello, welcome to my fashion channel. My name is Ufuma Moluru and I'm your host and mentor as usual. And have you been? Hope you're staying safe. Today's tutorial is going to be a simple tutorial you can try your hands on if you're a beginner in sewing. And it's going to be a wide leg pants. I want to show you how to make. Like you saw in the intro video, I made mine. It's comfy, it's easy to make, it's trendy, it's sassy. You can do whatever you want with your trousers. So why is this different from other trousers? It's because it's really easy, to make. You don't need to pay too much attention to some formulas for your trouser making, apart from getting your crotch right. So here I have a diagram that shows how you can get your crotch measurement right. Some people say you should sit down on a flat surface and measure from the waist to the bottom of your buttocks on the seat on the flat surface, and that will give you your crotch length. Others say you need to take a tape in between your legs from the waist length in front to the back of your waist and divide by 2, and that will give you your crotch length. For me, what I do is I divide my hip measurement by 4. And when I do that, most times it tallies and it works for my pants. So maybe you want to use any of these formulas you deem fit. So before you start cutting, you need to make sure that you take your hip measurement, your thigh, your knee, and the bottom of your trouser and the length of your trouser. For your calf, you can only do this if it's a 3/4 trouser. Then you need to take your calf measurement. So for today's tutorial, I'll only be needing the length of my trousers. I'm going to be needing my hip, and basically that's all. So you see, as I told you, it's really easy. So if you're ready, let's get into the classroom and start cutting. Yes, so now my fabric is folded into 4. As you can see, I just folded that into 4. So for this particular tutorial, you don't even need up to 2 meters of lycra or this particular kind of fabric, because fabrics like this always come in double length. So what I have done is I just cut the length I needed. Like I said in the diagram, you need to get the length of your trouser or your pants. So for me, my normal length would have been 45, but I'm not going to cut 45 exactly. I'm going to make allowance for the folding at the top. For the bottom, I will need to fold, because every fabric, the tip is called the self edge, and this self edge for this particular fabric is really finished nicely, so I will need to fold this. So note that depending on the kind of fabric you use, you may not need to fold. And that's one thing I love about this fabric. I don't need to fold. So I'm just going to keep that. I won't take into consideration my M length or folding my M. Okay, so 45 inches I would have used, but because I'm really tall and I don't want my pants hanging, so I'm going to be using 47 length. So to 47 length, I'm going to add 1 inch for my elastic band to turn the top. Okay, because I'm going to use elastic to make it firm at the top, so I'm going to fold just 1 inch downwards, and that's going to create the band for my pants. So now once you have this piece, so it's as if you have 2 pieces of fabric folded into 2. So once you have this on your table, we've established the length and the width. I checked for my hip. Normally it would have been 44 divided by 4 would have given me 11 inches. So I checked 11 inches, and after 11 inches I noticed I still had enough, like 3 inches, to make my crotch. So for the crotch I need 2.5 inches width, so that it's fine. So what I will start doing first and foremost now is to get my to check my hip. I don't want it to be too loose. I want it to be a bit snug around the hip, because this is stretch fabric. So if you cut too big, it's going to be practically shapeless. So use your exact hip. My exact hip is 44. So I'm not going to add anything to that. I'm just going to do 44 because the stretch after sewing is going to become smaller. So that is the point, okay, where I can now take the crotch width. So just do that all the way long. So 44 for me is my hip. So to get my crotch, I'm going to do 44 divided by 4, which is 11. So the length of my crotch is going to be 11 plus 1, which the folding for the top. So 12 inches up to this point. So I'm just marking. I'm using a marker so you can see that. Okay, so that is my crotch. You make a straight line like that. Get a ruler and do that. Okay, so once you've done that, at the bottom of the length of your crotch, all you need to do is make like that, you know, like a curve, like you do for your armhole. So from this point, I need just 2.5 inches extra, which ends at this point. So whatever is excess, I'm going to cut out because you want to be exact on what you need. So before I start shaping my pants, I'm going to cut off that extra. So make sure what you have is just what you need. If not, your pants are going to be so big that you won't get a nice fit. So I'm taking that off because after measuring my hip and my crotch width, it was a bit much, and so that's what I am removing. Yeah, so what we have now on the table is just what we need. So we have our crotch. I'm going to cut, and you'll be surprised that I'm cutting the front and the back exactly the same. Yes, it's possible to do this because the fabric is stretch. Okay, so I won't be scared of the front or the back being different. Okay, so I've done that now. So the next thing I want to think about is my tie, because you don't want this to be too loose fitting. And remember, oh, I forgot to tell you, for this pant I won't cut the sides. It's just going to remain the way they are, so that makes it really easy for beginners. So the tie, I'm going to take underneath the crotch length. So my tie, 28. So you want to divide that, but because it's stretch fabric, I'm not going to be using 28. I'll use 26, so it can really sit well on me. So that's about at that point. Then from the top to my knee, I'm going to be using 20 inches. That's my knee. So you need to ascertain your knee. So it depends on your length. Everybody's knee is not the same. So just get your tape and check what the distance from your waist to your knee is. And don't forget, you don't want to start at the top. It's -1. You know, we put 1 up there because of the band. So from that -1, you measure to the distance of your knee, and we're going to shape at that point. Okay, so 21, 22 inches. Okay, I'm going to do that. So this is at this point, I have my knee. Okay, so this is the point for my knee. So at that point, I'm going to go in with about 2 inches because I don't want it to just be straight. So I'm going to curve from underneath the crotch to the 2 inches point. Then from that point, I'm going to go straight all the way to the bottom because it's going to be wide leg, and I don't need to shape anything more than that. So just straight from the knee. Okay, but if you want it to be smaller, you can measure the size you want around your knee and use that to go all the way to the bottom. So now I'm going to cut. So you can make your pants as wide as you want. When it comes to sewing and when it comes to fashion, it's really very subjective. Okay, so that's my pants I've just cut. So I have my wide leg pants. So you know I cut the back and the front together. Now once you've stitched the 2 legs apart, you want to get your pin. Okay, you can decide to put the legs inside of each other. So you turn one to the right, leave one on the right side and the other on the wrong side. Then you're going to put in the one on the right side inside the one on the wrong side, and you get your pin and you pin together starting from the crotch. Make sure the two ends where you stitch stays together, so it's that way. And you start pinning from the front to the back, and make sure when you are pinning this part that you stitch where you have the joining, the two goes faces towards the back piece of your pants. So once you've gotten your pins and you've pinned, you want to pin all the way, then you stitch. And I'm going to show you what I have after I stitch. Then I'll tell you the next thing you need to do. Okay, so that's my pants and I've just finished stitching. So now I will now bring the middle of one of the sides, like the front piece. I'm going to take it down lower than the back. So to do that, you need to make sure you notch the sides. I'm going to notch the sides. I'm going to fold like that. I'm going to notch the sides so it guides me, so I know which part is the side. Okay, and once I've done that, what I'm going to do next is to bring down the center of the front piece. So I'm going to fold into two, and I'm going to bring down the center with about 1 or 2 inches. Okay, so I'm doing that now because the front should be shorter than the back. So I just did that. Okay, so this is what you will get. So when you do this, it makes it lap better than when the back and the front are of the same size. So now I'm going to get my band. So I've cut my elastic band, 1 inch elastic band, and this is about 10 inches shorter than my normal waist. So it depends on how much your elastic stretches. So, well, you don't want to cut the exact size of your waist.